Hello and a very warm welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Global TV's news cycle, live in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I am Judith Peter. We will on Thursday join other heads of state and government in Bissau, Guinea-Bissau, to celebrate the country's 50th independence anniversary and Armed Forces Day. President Tinubu will arrive in Bissau on Thursday for the ceremony, which will be hosted by President Umaru Sissoco Embalo. Guinea-Bissau marked its 50th independence anniversary on September 24, 2023, but the government has scheduled all celebrations for the November 16, 2023. The president is expected to return to Nigeria on Thursday. President Bola Tinubu says poverty is not a shameful thing, but it is unacceptable in Nigeria under his leadership. The president, who spoke on Tuesday at the 55th International Conference Exhibition and Emirate Anniversary for the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria with the theme Sustainable HR, Business and National Development, it said the crucial role that human resources play in shaping the destiny of our nation cannot be overemphasized, as our collective vision must transcend the ordinary. He said he shared a vision that centers on transforming Nigeria into a nation of creators and builders, ensuring a prosperous Nigeria for all and future generations to come. He added that his vision for the Nigerian workforce is one where every citizen who wishes to be is gainfully employed and able to take care of themselves and their family. The House of Representatives has stated its commitment to improving infrastructure at the rural areas across the country. Chairman, House Committee on Rural Development, Marcus Onabu, stated the commitment at the committee's inaugural meeting. The National Assembly is said as the representatives of the rural communities. Members of the committee would work to close infrastructural gaps across constituencies. Onobu added that while previous chairman of the committee restricted functionality around certain MDAs, the 10th Assembly Committee will be functioning a little differently to enable it to achieve set objectives and make meaningful impact in the lives of millions of Nigerians who reside in the rural areas. Meanwhile, the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has reserved judgment in an appeal by Abdullahi Sule of the All Progressive Congress seeking to overturn a tribunal decision that nullified his election and declared David Ombugado of the People's Democratic Party winner of the Nasarawa State governorship polls. A three-member panel headed by Justice Uchechukwu Onyema made this known after parties in the matter adopted their processes Wednesday. Sobrat Usman completes the report.
During proceedings, Wale Olanipekun, counsel to Sule, urged the court to set aside the tribunal decision for lacking in merits. He argued that the tribunal refused to take the submissions of their witnesses during the tribunal hearing and that data from the BVAS standard at the tribunal were merely dumped and the data were not analyzed as evidence. On his part, Kanu Agabi, counsel to Ombugado and the PDP, urged the court to affirm the tribunal decision and dismiss the appeal, describing the evidence standard to same as being merely documentary. With respect to the BVAS, Agabi argued that it was sufficiently demonstrated in the tribunal with the printouts from the machine tendered, faulting the argument that they were merely dumped. Ombugado, PDP, Electoral Body INEC and the APC are the first to fourth respondents in the appeal. Sobra Usman, Global Television News, Abuja.
The Nigeria Safety Investigation Bureau, NSIB, says it has been notified about an incident involving a Bombardier CRJ-900LR aircraft with nationality and registration marks 5N-BXR belonging to ValueJet Airlines, which occurred around 3:32 p.m. local time on 14th November 2023. A statement by Director of Public Affairs and Consumer Protection, NSIB, Dr. James Oduadu, said the Bureau has commenced the process of unraveling the immediate and remote causes of the incident, with its investigators already at the scene. The aircraft, with 62 passengers and 5 crew upon landing at the Port Harcourt International Airport from Lagos, overshoot the runway at 03. The statement noted there was no injury or fatality at all. The passengers and crew members were safely evacuated and no damage to the aircraft was reported. The Bureau appeals to the public and the media to avoid speculations about the likely causes while also respecting the privacy of those on board. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has said it will cost $35 million to fly back to Nigeria the corpse of the Nigerian medical student Chibuikem Emmanuel, who was murdered in the Philippines. Emmanuel was reportedly murdered in the Philippines allegedly by some Chinese nationals on October 23, 2023, according to a post made to the social network platform X handle by one Michael Ojala, who described Emmanuel as his friend. Ojala has posted on X handle that the victim was brutally murdered by a group of Chinese on Tuesday. The Director Consular Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Aya Francis, said the ministry was in close contact with the embassy in the Philippines and was on top of the situation. Still, the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Dagiwa, has launched the Diaspora Housing Scheme with a facility for diaspora assets up to 50 million naira loan for mortgage with an interest rate of 6.9%. Paid over a period of 10 years, Architect Ahmed Dagiwa made this known at the 6th edition of Nigeria Diaspora Investment Summit, NDIS, at the State House in Abuja. It said the mortgage scheme will be launched in the United Kingdom, Canada, and the United States soon. In her remarks, NILCOM Chairman, Mrs. Abike Dabira, explained that the scheme has been in the heart of the Commission and will do all it takes to actualize it, ends the launch. Meanwhile, the National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu is concerned by the declaration of a nationwide strike by the leadership of the organized labor led by the NLC and TUC. In a statement, the head of Strategic Communication Office of the National Security Advisor, Zakari Majiwawa, on the strike action on the livelihood of ordinary Nigerians and its potential impact on economic security and other strategic national interests. As attested by the NLC leadership, the NSA immediately intervened in learning about the traverse of the president of the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, Comrade Joe Ajero, who was assaulted in Owerri, Imo State capital. The NSA regrets the incident and condemns it in its entirety as it was against the rule of law and the principles of freedom of association and expression subscribed to by President Bola Tinubu and his administration. As a fallout of the incident, relevant authorities were directed to conduct a thorough investigation into the circumstances surrounding the assault and bring to book the culprits. Available updates indicate that some arrest has already been made in the regard. The outcome of the investigation will be made public as soon as it is concluded. The federal government, through the office of the NSA, therefore appeals to the Labour Congress to call off the current strike action and allow the dialogue process on the way to be exalted. As well, the Nigeria Labour Congress NLC and Trade Union Congress of Nigeria TUC nationwide strike recorded miscompliance across the Federal Capital Territory. It was observed that there were partial compliance with some organization, public schools, and the National Assembly Complex shut down. Sandra Akbar completes the report.
Strike, which began on Tuesday, kick-started with just but a little compliance by the public. But today, most offices with government agencies and parastatals, schools, filling stations and banks have been shut down. Addressing newsmen at the NLC Labour House in Abuja, the TUC President Festus Osifo says the notice for the strike came out late on Monday night and that is why there was a low compliance.
The notice for the strike actually went out late on Monday. If you could recall, the notice of the strike went out at about 7 p.m. on Monday. So when the notice of the strike went out on Monday, a lot of organizations, they've already closed. Most of our members have closed for the day. So the information did not percolate down to to most of the affiliates, you know. That was why you saw the level of compliance yesterday, because some people came to work, they were shocked because they may not have television at home, they may not have electricity to even watch television. So that was why the compliance yesterday was varied. But again, I think the aim for yesterday was achieved. Today, the news is now everywhere, and I can tell you that it is nearly 100% compliance.
Osifo urged the government to bring to book those involved in the brutalization of the NLC president, stating that Ajaero represents a national institution and wasn't in Imo State for the sake of any party.
The person that was brutalized, our comrade, the president of Nigeria Labour Congress, he represents an institution. And the institution he represents is a national institution. And those that brutalized him or handed him over to the thugs that brutalized him, they are also national institution, the Nigerian Police Force. So that is why we want government to do the needful. They cannot do this and go scot-free. Those people, they must be brought to book. Did they see Joe Ajaero in any political gathering? The answer clearly was a no. Did they see Joe Ajaero campaigning for any candidate? The answer clearly was a no. Joe Ajaero was brutalized in Labour House.
At the Labour House, the NLC president, the former Inspector General of Police Mike Okiro, and some dignitaries were in a closed-door meeting. Osifo noted that they don't know the purpose of the meeting but urged the state actors to act fast.
We don't know. All we want is for state actors to act. Yeah, they could send village chiefs, they could send the Sultan of Sokoto, send the Oba of Benin, send whatsoever. It doesn't really matter. These are not state actors. The state actors, we want them to act. And who are the state actors? We all know them. So those are the people we are calling to action.
Sandra Akpa, reporting for Global TV News, Abuja.
First, scarcity has resurfaced across cities in the country as many oil marketers short their outlets to motorists and other users of petrol occasioned by fears of alleged scarcity. Our correspondent Sandra Akpa monitored the situation and takes it from here.
In separate interviews at different filling stations in Abuja, the nation's capital, commuters were evidently not pleased at the recent increase in pump price of petroleum products, as well as the sudden queues that have resurfaced at filling stations.
For 2 times within this week, I have come to this place, the NNPC Tower, that is the gun oil, and this place. I couldn't get, they didn't have fuel. I have to buy black market at 850 and 9,000 for 10 liters. Yes, and the people buy here at the pump price in the night and come out and sell to us, adding about 250.
It's very difficult.
Why?
As you can see, some of us, our cars stop on the road and find it very difficult to get. And some of my guys are pushing their car just to get fuel. I've been on the queue for over 40 minutes now just to get fuel.
I mean, things like this are not supposed to happen in Nigeria. Nigeria has oil, and I mean, I still don't understand why it's happening this way. I mean, what is the government doing? And then people are just allocating money for themselves. I mean, you can't try that over there. You know, everybody lives averagely. But here, I don't understand. I don't know what our leaders are doing. I mean, you pray for another one to come. Anyone that comes in, I mean, they just mess the place up.
Although independent marketers have hitched on the back of market instability, bad roads, and a shortage of foreign currency, with the dollar currently trading at more than 1,045 naira on the black market. Africa's largest oil exporter, Nigeria, imports nearly all its fuel as it refines far from enough to meet the demand of its 200 million citizens. Sandra Akpa, reporting for Global TV News, Abuja.
Members of the Nigeria Labour Congress NLC and the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria mobilized to the National Assembly in testifying a nationwide industrial action against the Nigeria government. The strike was initiated following directives from the NLC National Executive Council during their week's meeting, mandating all Congress affiliates to strictly adhere to the protest. This joint action by the NLC and TUC was prompted by reported violations of workers' rights, including the assault on NLC President Joe Ajaero during a protest in Imo State, alongside the government's persistent refusal to honor previously negotiated negotiated agreement. In compliance with this to the legislative complex, this decision reinforces the collective effort to pressurize the government for resolution. As well, the nationwide strike called by the Nigeria Labour Congress NLC and Trade Union Congress TUC took effect at midnight Tuesday following an alleged failure of government to match words with action on agreements reached with the organized labor. In this report, Sharon Ajay finds that there have been mixed reaction from citizens and labor workers as organizations in their numbers across the country are impacted on varied levels.
The midnight commencement of the strike, even though the leadership of Labour had notified its affiliates and the public, is having a shocking and advanced impact on the socio-economic impact on Nigerians. Unreality for Labour, however, is the demanding task of enforcing a state-by-state compliance of the nationwide industrial action. So far, there has been visible absence of total compliance across several states as Labour continues to drive enforcement where there was no total compliance. The Labour leaders prevented workers from accessing their offices. Sharon Ajay reporting for Global TV News.
The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, has said that the federal government's adoption of compressed natural gas offers an opportunity to private sector players. Edun said this at the unveiling of the 2023 Nigeria Banking Sector Report by Afriverse, which was held in Lagos on Wednesday. The report was entitled Getting Nigeria to Work Again. The Financial Ministry, who was represented by the Managing Director of the Ministry of Finance Incorporated, Dr. Armstrong Targant, said that increasing the adoption of CNG will reduce the cost of production for businesses and households. However, he highlighted that there was a need to increase investment. He said the price of CNG versus PMS ranges from half of it, and sometimes it comes down to a quarter of what it costs to run on full. The Economy and Financial Crimes Commission has arraigned a man, Oladipo Jimoh, and his firm, Bama Energy, for allegedly stealing $60,334.59 belonging to Eval Blue Limited on Thursday. Jimoh was arraigned before Justice Mojisola Dadar of the Special Offences Court sitting in Ikeja, Lagos, on a two-count charge of stealing. The EFCC disclosed this in a statement made available on its X handle page on Wednesday. The prosecuting counsel GC Aka Ogu had told the courts that Jimoh allegedly converted two properties of Val Blue Limited to his personal use in a dishonest manner. The account read, Oladipo Bankole Jimoh and Bama Energy Resources Limited sometime between 11th October 2022 and July 2023 in Lagos within the Ikeja Judicial Division dishonestly converted to your own use the sum of $47,534.59 property of Val Blue Limited, Oladipo Bankole Jimoh and Bama Energy Resources Limited sometime between the Dada granted him bail to the tune of 200 million naira with two sureties in like sum. Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission will this week issue letter to General and Nigeria Bar Association lawyers to commence the prosecution of offenders arrested during the last general election in February and March. The issuance of the letter was slightly delayed by the off-cycle governorship election in Imo, Kogi State and Bayelsa State at the weekend. With the election over, the official who preferred anonymity said the prosecutors should get their letters month after the general election. INEC had yet to commence the prosecution of the offenders in the 215 case files handed over to it by the police. The commission announced that it would speedily prosecute the suspect, saying it had secured the partnership of the NBA to nominate lawyers who would prosecute the offenders on pro bono on free of charge. As well, the Academy Staff Union of University has said the federal government plans to automatically deduct 40% from university the internally generated revenue will impoverish the university system. In October, the Ministry of Finance noted to automatically deduct 40% from their IGR ASU in a statement signed by its national president, Professor Emmanuel Osodeke, on Tuesday. After its National Executive Council meeting at the Kaduna State University, explained that universities were not revenue-generating agencies, saying that the obligatory fees paid by students were to provide the necessary tools for them to be properly educated. The statement said the NEC meeting took place from Saturday 11th to Sunday 12th November 2023 and deliberated on several issues affecting the Nigerian university system and country. Osodeke advised federal government to remove university from the list of agencies expected to remit 40% from its University of Technology, Owerri Ambrose, Ali University, Ekpoma, Kogi State University, Ayimba, Ebonyi State University, Abakaliki, Lagos State University, Ojo, and others. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Defense, Dr. Ibrahim Abubakar Kana, has said that the federal government is committed to boosting the welfare of staff by providing incentives that would make them happy and be committed to their work. He stated this when he commissioned the state-of-the-art 330-seater buses on Tuesday, 14th November 2023 in Sheep House. Speaking during the commissioning, Dr. Kana said the buses were provided to augment the welfare of staff in line with President Bola Tinubu's 8-point renewed hope agenda and to implement the Federal Civil Service strategic and implementation plan reforms. The Permanent Secretary said that the buses would ease transportation logistics that would contribute to a positive and motivated workforce. He expressed his gratitude for the unwavering dedication of staff to work, saying to whom much is given, much is expected. Dr. Kana further stated that logbook would be attached to the well-trained drivers in order to ensure maintenance and sustainability of the bus scheme, which he hopes will continue to increase in numbers. The high point of the event was a test run of one of the buses by the Permanent Secretary to signal the commissioning of the well-equipped 30 seaters for use by the staff. Meanwhile, club members have been advised to utilize the opportunity of their 3-week orientation course to foster national unity and integration among themselves, irrespective of tribal and religious differences. The Director General of National Youth Service Corps, Brigadier General Yeshua Ahmed, gave the advice today in his address to the 2023 Batch C Stream 1 Corps member undergoing orientation at Kaduna State Temporary Orientation Camp at Government College, Kumi, Mashi, Kaduna. He urged them to accept their deployment to Kaduna State in good faith, make friends during and after the orientation course, and also respect the diverse cultures of residents of the state. General Ahmed warned the Corps members against the night traveling, while he also appealed to them to be security conscious at all times. And that's it on Global TV's news cycle, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across our social media platform using the Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your TV screen. On behalf of the production team, I am Judith.